Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called the Antonov AN-12B. Obviously, this is a plane, and we have quite a few options available. Normally, I start with the base version, but we're actually going to be starting off with the BeamNG skin base, which is just the base version with a cooler looking paint job, because the base one's a little bit plain. This one has a nice looking stripe to it, and you notice the controls for this thing. They look very complex. It's not as complex as it seems, but it is still flying a plane, which is always a little bit complex in this game, but it's never really difficult once you learn the controls. So anyways, here's a quick look at the outside of this thing. It has 4 engines that are on the second you spawn it up, and it has a nice blue stripe on it and the words BeamNG. There's a full 360 of it, and we can go ahead and pop into the inside so you can see what the inside of it looks like. So on the inside here, we have a ton of gauges. According to the author, there are over 150 animated instrument related parts, and I truly don't doubt that. Looking at all these gauges here and watching most of them function as we fly in the air, I was thinking about going through the gauges, then I realized it would take about a half hour, and I'm pretty sure most of you would rather see a plane fly for a half hour than me talk about gauges for a half hour. All you need to know is that it has more functional gauges than anything less than an actual flight simulation game. There are a couple of key features I'll show off though before we get this thing into the air, one of which requires us going to the co-pilot seat, which sounds kind of funny, but the co-pilot is the one with the screen. I'm going to zoom into this, and you're thinking, WhyBeAre, that's not a screen, that's just a piece of paper. But that's where you're wrong, because if you hit F3 and F4, you can navigate through the screens right here. So we have 3 buttons up top, and then 3 buttons down below. The first 3 just control the fans in the cabin, so we're going to zoom back out so you can see these fans. So you can hit F5 and F6 to activate and deactivate whatever is on the screen. So we can hit activate the fan, go to the next one, activate the fan, go to the next one, activate the fan. Then we have 3 fans all going in the cabin, giving us a nice gentle breeze as we fly the plane. The other 3 are more flight-based, so let's zoom back in so we can see what it says easily for you guys. There you go. The next thing is the target speed. So you can set this to whatever you want, and not only does it have a little indicator on the gauge, as you'll see it move right now, it also gives you an alarm for when you have issues with your target speed, and I'd just rather have no alarms yelling at me, so we're going to set it to 0, so that way the only way it'll go off is if we find a way to go at negative speed, which I don't really see happening in this video. Like, I would actually have to try to do that, probably. The next thing we have is the decision height, and whoops, why did the camera just jump like that? I hate when it does that. So the next thing we have is the decision height, as I was saying, and you can set that in increments of 20 meters, and it's kind of funny. To me, it's like, okay, the decision height's in meters, right? But then we also have an altimeter adjust, and that one is in feet. I don't know if that's normal or not, because I'm not really a plane guy, but it was just kind of funny to see, okay, this one's in feet, but the one right above it is in meters for some reason. I'm assuming it's just normal, or maybe it's because this is a Russian plane and they did some crazy stuff. That might be it too, I'm not really sure. And it was also a little bit of a pain to figure out what the gauges did, because I wanted to know what the gauges did. So I spent a lot of time just flying and staring at the gauges to figure out exactly what they did, and it worked for the most, but I know what almost all of them do. There are a few where I think I know what they do, but I'm not positive, but it's enough where I feel like I could fly this thing in complete darkness where I'm just relying on the gauges to navigate. Maybe not landing, because I can't land in the daytime, but I could at least do nighttime flights. Before we get in the air, I actually want to go back to the pilot seat to show you a couple of more features. So over here, we have all these switches right here, and they are all functional. What they do is they turn on and off the engines on this thing. So you could turn off individual engines of your choosing using M and the keys to the right of the letter M, because I don't feel like trying to name those ones. So you could run with just the 2 outer engines, just the 2 inner engines, just the 1 engine on the right side, just the really weird asymmetrical setup like that, whatever you want. But I want the flight to go nice and smooth right now, so we're going to have all the engines on. So let's go ahead and actually get this thing up into the air. Now you have all the controls listed up here as you've seen earlier, but what I would suggest you do is you go to the download link on this and read the first forum post, because it has the controls listed in an easier to read fashion than what you see right here. Anyways, first thing we want to do is we want to use the plus and minus to control the throttle. We're going to hit plus to increase the throttle up to 100%, and then once we're actually up to speed, we're going to use the arrow keys for basic controls. Now the plus I'm using is the one next to backspace, not in the number pad. That's a different one. If you use those ones, I don't know if they actually do anything. I'm checking right now, they do nothing. You want to use the ones near backspace at the top of the keyboard. So once this thing gets up to about 130 miles per hour, we should be able to get into the air, because this is a plane that is able to hold cargo. Right now it has no cargo, so it can go pretty easy with things. So I'm going to go ahead and get some lift right here, and we are up into the air. And yeah, I waited a little bit longer than probably necessary, but I just wanted to make sure again that everything goes nice and smoothly, which it did. We are in the air and we are flying, no problem. Now the way this plane is set up, you can have either direct or gradual controls, and basically the way it works is with gradual, if you want to go on a slight incline, you just hold down the button for a little bit and then let go, and it'll keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And then you also have direct mode, and with direct mode, it levels out, and then if you want to do any sort of movement, you click and hold down while you want to do that, and when you're done with the movement, you let go, and then it levels out automatically. You have that option for the elevators, the ailerons, and the rudder. And by the way, to control the rudder, you use Z and X. And this is not probably something you should be doing in the middle of a flight going 200 miles per hour, but we just did it anyways. And by default, to change from gradual to direct steering, you use page up, page down, and the end key on your keyboard. And also, the up and down arrows, those control the elevators, while left and right controls the ailerons. And it feels like it's just the kind of setup you have where it feels as good as it can on a keyboard. So let's have a crash right here, straight into the ground. Pretty high speed. And we got parts flying all over the place. And it even has a cool sound when you crash, because the engines kind of wore down. I don't know if it's just their down revving or if it's a specific sound just for crashes, but it sounds really cool, and I gotta let you guys listen to it next time. So let's go ahead and reset this thing. And then we'll change the version that we have. So the one we have right now is an empty vehicle, but you can actually get ones that are preloaded with some supplies, and then you can also load things yourself. For example, this one over here has 16,800 kilograms of planks in it, so we're going to go ahead and get that one up, and then we'll take a look at the planks before we take off. Here's the plane, which you've already seen, so let's go ahead and sneak on inside, and you can see, look at all these planks! They're normal planks that are already in the game, but there are a bunch of them. We also have this control panel right here, but it doesn't actually move, so you can hit T, which opens the doors right there, but nothing on it actually moves, and I really like the way these doors open, because one of them goes vertical, the other two flip open like a normal pair of doors, and it just looks really cool watching it open and close like this. So I'll let it close all the way before we go ahead and get this thing into the air. Alright, fully closed up. Outside we go. We're going to go full throttle, and it's going to take a little bit longer to take off. Like, you mostly notice it in the lower speeds when you're trying to get moving. Once you start getting moving, the extra weight isn't too big of a deal. So like once we hit 140 miles per hour, we should be able to get into the air, no problem. It's just how long will it take us to reach 140 miles per hour? A little bit extra. Alright, we're up to 70, and here's the acceleration, keeps going. 80. 90. Although we're going a little bit crooked, I gotta fix this. And I'm going the wrong way because I forgot how to use a rudder for a second. Oh, I just made things worse at first. Alright, 130 now. In case I could go ahead and take off a little early, we'll do 135, and we're trying to go up, 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 and there we are, up into the air. And we can also hit G to close the landing gear. It's one of those things I never bother doing because I like watching the parts of the landing gear fly off when I crash, so I usually leave it open. But you can close it, and you can see it closes. No problem there if the plane would stay level, so you could kind of see it closing. And then, of course, when you want to land, you pull it back out. Because I want to do a different kind of crash than last time. We're going to do not like a dive, but kind of like a really bad landing. It's like we're going to go way too steep into this thing for it to be possibly good. Then we pull up at the last second. And now you're able to hear what it sounds like when it crashes. I don't know, I just like the way the engines sound as they go off in every direction. And we got parts basically scattered everywhere. And there's one over here that's just bouncing all over the place. Apparently it's just made of rubber or something. But yeah, pieces everywhere. We'll go back over to here and reset. And instead of trying to fly this thing to the air again, why don't we make a little bit of a shortcut here. We're just going to bring the camera way up into the air. And we'll teleport it right there and just let it dive to the ground. It does have like a beeper that beeps at you if you're stalling, which is basically what I'm doing by teleporting into the air. So we should have impact very, very soon. I'm going to go ahead and start the slow-mo, 16 times slow-mo as I find a good camera angle for this. Where is he? There he is. All right, that looks like close enough to me. We'll just let it fall to the ground. And then, boom. Really get to see the impact this time. Last time we didn't really get to see it too much. I mean, last time I did a dive like this. Pieces flying everywhere. Surprisingly, the whole fuselage itself stayed intact. I figured it like snapped in half or something, but it's pretty good. That means the cargo in there should be pretty good as well, yeah. Okay, a little bit of damage on the front of them, but the rear half is alright. And guess what happened is a lot of it shifted forward probably. That's what happened. Alright, how about this? We'll do that again. We'll go a little bit higher this time to see if it'll damage the fuselage or not. And I want it to be kind of the same thing where it just dives by gravity. I'm not doing anything to it, just gravity doing the work here. And I'm going to try to race it to the ground. Oh no, it's going to beat me, isn't it? Not today, pal, because I got the power of slow-mo and freezing physics. So speed it up. Stop. Just in time. That was a little too close. Alright. And then crash. How's the plane gonna hold up this time? There we go. It snapped in half. Oh, that's cool seeing it snap in half right there. And then it got the wheels flying all over the place. That's why I like having the landing gear open all the time. Got fire too. Beautiful looking thing. And we'll just go ahead and full speed this thing. And again, where's the cargo at? There it is. It's all in there. Pretty much the same as before. I wonder, can the cargo actually be removed from the plane properly, or is it kind of permanently attached? Guess it's permanently attached because I'm pulling it 100% and it's just not separating from the plane itself. Yeah, not happening. So we'll go ahead and reset this. And we'll load it up with cargo that can actually be unloaded. So we're going to bring it back to the ground. And then I got to unload the cargo that's currently in it. And it seems like the only way to do that is to change vehicles. So we'll go with the Rig of Rods colored version. And that one says skin base. So that means it has nothing inside of it. And there's actually 2 vehicles in this mod. One of them not exactly a vehicle, but it's in the vehicle selector. So look, the title up there says vehicle. So it's a vehicle. It's called the Antonov AN-12 ramp. So we're going to go ahead and spawn this up right next to the plane. And what this does is it makes it a lot easier to put things into the plane. So when you're the plane, you can hit T to open the cargo door, as I said earlier, and it opens in that awesome fashion. And then we can just go ahead and grab the ramp and teleport it under the plane about here. And you can try to drive a vehicle into this just based on wherever it ends up being positioned. But if you want it to be really easy, what you do is pull it backwards a little bit because it's a little too close to the plane, unfortunately. There we go. And you use the node grabber here. So you grab this node and you attach it to that corner. And then you do the same for the other node. You grab... Well, actually, I guess you don't even need to. It attaches itself in this position. Sometimes it doesn't, but that time it worked out easy enough. Now we can just spawn up vehicles and put them in there. I think we should go to the extreme, don't you? Let's see if the Wentworth DT40L can fit in this thing. I don't think it'll fit, to be honest. But it's one of those things where I have to see if it does. And oh my goodness, there's no way it's going to fit. No. There's no way. We could drive it into it and destroy the plane. Sure, but it's not going to fit. And if we're going to be doing that, I got to back up to get some extra speed real quickly. Maybe I'll put the bigger turbocharger on this thing too to give it a little bit of extra oomph as we smash into the plane like a complete lunatic. Thinking if I go faster, obviously that'll make it fit. So I'll put the T350 turbocharger on this thing and then we're just going to floor it right into there and see what happens. I expect this to go terribly. Absolutely terribly. Hope I'm not disappointed. I am as lined up as I can be. That is as close as you're going to get. 8 times slow-mo. There is no way this is gonna fit. It just crashed into it. But you can see just how durable the plane actually is. Like, the bus hit it, and the bus got destroyed. The plane? Well, let's look at the plane real quickly. What damage? No, really, what damage on the plane? Plane's basically unharmed at this point. Alright, let's actually load it up with some vehicles that'll fit then, now that we tried the stupid one. So let's say somebody has a real classic lead sled version of the Burnside Special and they need to transport it in the air for some reason because normal car transportation on the road is not okay. Am I in slow-mo still? Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is this car going so slow? Alright. Uh-oh. Is the ramp kind of messed up, though? A little crooked. I think it'll be okay. Just be careful with it. No! No traction! No traction! No traction! Bottoming out! I'm stuck! Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. We're gonna try it again. I was trying to go a little too slow because I was worried the ramp might be messed up. Alright, just kind of coast it in like that. There we go. Car number 1 has been loaded into the vehicle. Let's get car number 2. I'm just gonna load as many as will fit. So let's say this dude also has like a legendary drift vehicle. And he's like, I need to put this thing on the plane too. It's a legend. You can't leave a legend like that behind. Well, that thing gets spawned up and then into the plane it goes. Now, all these vehicles aren't going to actually be too heavy on the plane because the wood we were doing earlier was pretty heavy. So up we go and whoa, a little bit of a contact. Don't tell the owner of the cars that happened. I think this will probably be the last one we fit. So what did the last one be? He has a very fashionable, modern sports car that's nearing supercar territory, basically. So I'll spawn this thing up and then into we go. Gotta do a little bit slower this time. I have all-wheel drive, so I don't have to worry too much about getting stuck, but I have kind of pushed the ramp crooked. If I followed my own directions and actually lined up the ramp on both corners, it wouldn't be so crooked. I don't think we could fit much more in this. Maybe if we really, really wanted to, we might be able to stick a pigeon in there. I just don't know how we would get the pigeon up the ramp easily. Like, it's gonna kind of just have to fly up the ramp, basically. That's what I'm thinking. Well, maybe the ramp's not as treacherous as it appears. Like, maybe it looks like there's a hole in the middle, but it's not actually a hole in the middle. Let's see what happens. Do we fall in the middle or do we go up it? Okay, it's actually easy to use ramp, and so is the SBR4. It's an easy to use ramp. All right, perfect. Everything has been loaded. We got to detach the ramp. So to do that, we just try to find the node that connected it, and then you click on it. And if you can't seem to click on it good, well, there's another solution. You become the ramp and then just reset it. There we go. All right, we are ready for takeoff. We're going to go ahead and close the rear door. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I don't think I can close the rear door. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, I just thought about it because there's damage. Let's see, which one of these is the plane? There's the plane. Let's see what happens. And we're okay-ish. Yeah, we lost one of the rear doors. That's the one that the pigeon's gonna fall out. Oh, I know it's gonna fall out. All right, let's just say we'll reposition the pigeon a little bit to try to make sure it doesn't fall out. Can I go like that? Oh, that looks awful. It's gonna fall so bad. I'm just damaging it. Oh, now it's locked in between the two sides. At least it's not going anywhere, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just got it stuck between two hard places. Get out of there. Just, you know, if you fall out, you fall out, and it's all your fault. And I accidentally changed vehicles without thinking because I thought I was that vehicle. Okay. Let's get this thing going. Full speed. Full throttle. Hopefully it can still fly good enough and there's not any serious damage from the bus. Yes, I probably should have reset it if I was really worried about the bus, but I wasn't. I knew this would work. It's going great. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of flying, and we're going to see if we can get the cars to fall out, and if then we'll actually crash this thing. So start off with a big climb once we're up to speed and just see if we'll get them to go. 120, not yet. Waiting for that 140-ish, and uh-oh, I'm going a little bit off the runway. All right, that's 140. Just get in the air. We might drop a pigeon, though. Pigeons are made to fly anyways, right? Oh, it's just barely hanging on. The bumper is hanging outside of the plane. And I'm going super vertical here, so if it was going to fall out, it should do it. There we go. We're dumping the cars. Oh, that was great. All the cars down to the ground. Hold on, we got to go see those cars as they hit the ground, don't we? All right, we'll go ahead and ignore the plane for a second to watch the falling cars, figure out where in the world they're going to actually land. You know, it's kind of hard to judge. They're falling over a pretty big distance because we're going so fast. If we just watch them from like right here, we should be able to see everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are all the cars. How's the plane doing? All right, it's doing great. It's doing a nice little banking maneuver right here. And let's say, uh-oh, I banked too hard or something, and we're going down. This is going to be a different kind of hit because it's going to be like upside down if I do it right. There we go. This is interesting. Actually, let's go ahead and get a cool camera angle on this one and use some slow-mo. I'm not going quite as upside down as I was hoping. It's going to be almost a vertical crash, but not quite. So there we are, lined up. And the other ones are definitely more vertical than this one. Uh-oh, I'm at a bad camera angle. Hold on. Here's a better camera angle. Go. Continue crashing. Like, I was really worried right there. I knew that camera angle wasn't going to work so good. Look at the engine right there. It's pulsing. Again, parts going everywhere. And I feel like we should do that one more time. But this time we'll do it with the cars loaded up. Now, unfortunately, I did not save the car position, so I have to load them up manually. So I'll be right back once that's done. Once again, everything has been loaded up. This time, though, it's very normal. All the cars are just placed in there as they should be. Again, though, there's no way to really strap them down unless I wanted to use the node grabber, but that feels a little bit of a cheating maneuver, so we're just going to go ahead and take off just like last time. But we're going to have a different crash. We're going to have a crash that's a little bit more forgiving on the cars on the inside. So it's going to be like a really bad landing is the kind of crash I'm going for right here. All I got to do is hope that nothing falls out too bad. Every vehicle's parking brake is on this time. That'll help us a little bit, I'm sure. And we're starting to swerve way to the side. Got to fix that up a little bit. Don't know why I was doing that. Still a little bit to the side, and we can go ahead and get into the air now. Perfect. I don't want to pull up too hard. I just want to go up a little bit, and then we're going to have like, just like this. We're going to go down for a really bad landing. Freeze physics. Slow things down a little bit, and let's check on the cars before we have the crash. So how are they doing? They're all clobbering together in the rear end a little bit, but they're still inside. Okay. Gonna go with, how about, let's do 8 times slow-mo until we actually get to the ground. I'm trying to pull up, but it's not gonna happen in time. There's impact happening there. Time to do the slow-mo and get a cool angle for the camera. There we go. So the front fell off. And there goes the car shooting out the front. That is the strategic maneuver on how to exit a plane right there. Here comes the next car. That is actually hilarious. Can you imagine having so much money, though? You want to, like, enter a place secretly, so you crash a plane and shoot your car out of it just like that? Man, to be a quadrillionaire, because that would cost a lot of money to do any time you wanted to enter somewhere secretly. And then also there's the cleanup of the plane crash. That was pretty good. So the other cars also came out eventually. They didn't do it as dramatically, though. So we can reset the plane, and I don't think I need all the stuff around me right now, so we'll just say remove everything else. And then I want to crash this thing into a bus. So we're going to grab a Wentworth DT40L and we'll make it the, let's do the city version. Like, why is this a bus for the city out here? I genuinely have no idea, and that's what makes this interesting. And oh, he's a little bit stuck inside of the blade of the thing, and actually gives me another thing I want to test. What happens if you hit the blades there? So they shouldn't be spinning too fast, so let's just see what happens. Just go to the one on the far left, because I think it's spinning faster than the one on the inner side. So, not much there. Maybe it was a little too slow, so how about we'll reset. We'll turn off all the engines but that one. And then we're going to go ahead and put the thing to go to full throttle. And now I'll try hitting it with the bus. So we'll see if the bus stands up or if it gets completely destroyed. So this thing should be spinning pretty fast already, I would think. So we're going to go at it. We'll do a little bit of slow-mo. And let's see. 100 times slow-mo so you can see how fast it's actually spinning. We can't actually tell. It just becomes blurry. Okay. Well, go at it. And that's... well, that's it. I guess the bus is able to actually withstand that pretty good. Even pop the engine off of it again. So bus is stronger than plane in this situation. What if, though, instead of crashing the bus into just the part of the plane, you have a crash where the whole bus hits the whole plane? I think that's going to be a lot better. I'm just trying to put some distance between me and the plane right now. It's going to be a little bit more right about here. Looks good. So we'll save the spot. And then we're going to go back to the plane once I can. And then full, well, we got to reset it. And then full throttle. And we just got to keep it straight and we should be able to hit the bus. And you really do realize how much smaller the bus is than the plane, though. Like, it won't fit in the plane, but it's much smaller considering it goes under the wings of the plane. The plane is a lot bigger. And it's like, well, duh, the plane's bigger than a bus, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what size this plane is. Because, you know, you got small planes and you got big planes. This one's more on the bigger side, but not on the gigantic side. Anyways, let's go ahead and try to get a nice camera angle for this. We're going to go straight through the bus. I want to make sure it's a good one, so like right here might work. Let's kind of back it up as we go, and wow! It looks a little sad, like it's frowning, but it went straight through the bus. Completely unfazed by the bus, except it did slow down a little bit, and the two inner engines are broken because the bus clipped them. So it's not going to be able to take off, but it did do a good job of just obliterating the bus to bits with minimal damage to it. So maybe what we could do is we'll reset the plane, and then, yeah. Nothing left of that bus. So how about we swap it out for a different bus? We're going to go with the Hero, and then we're going to have a head-on collision between bus versus plane. Who's going to win? It's obviously going to be the plane, no doubt about it after seeing that first one. But it'll be a different kind of crash because it's going to be head-on versus sideways. Maybe it'll actually have a chance to stop the plane because it'll have a lot of speed coming at it because I'm putting a ton of distance between us. And I know it's saying it's going to blow up soon, but we'll just go ahead and keep going anyways. Keep going, and we'll reset here. And we gotta do a quick 180, and we'll probably have to reset it once more. So let's do it carefully. Don't want to waste my thrust. Yeah, we'll just reset it actually. Don't have to worry about wasting the thrust. So that looks good. Reset. And then we'll go to the plane. We'll start the plane up, and then we'll start the bus up. The plane, go to full throttle. Plane's ready to go. Bus, go ahead and do that. And I think the plane should go pretty straight on its own, so I could almost just stick with the bus, I'm thinking. We'll take a look at the plane every now and then. So it's looking fine there. Bus is doing good, except it's warning me about all kinds of bad things that are about to happen. We're still fine, though. And we're coming up at them. 230 miles per hour on the bus. Probably like a third of that on the plane, I would think. So here we go. Final impact for the video. Bus with thrusters versus plane. And oh my goodness. The plane is basically eating the bus and is barely phased by it. Uh-oh. Okay, well, the game just said, no, this is too crazy. We can't have this. So, that's too bad. The whole front of the plane did fall off eventually, and then they got a wing that just kind of shoots off. That's funny. The other wing's still attached, but that one shot off. And it's gonna... It's actually... Wait a minute. It's flying! It's actually flying! Oh, we gotta go take a closer look at this thing. Look at it go! That's so beautiful. I'm gonna end the video here, but there will be a part 2 for the Antonov where we shoot down an Antonov using an Antonov. So until then, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya!